One of the things that we spend a lot of time on when you come in to see me is we talk about how to balance your food intake, especially carbohydrate foods, with your exercise and your medications. That's very important if you have diabetes, to try to get those three things in balance. A lot of people don't realize that the amount of carbohydrate that you eat at one time is just as important as the type of carbohydrate. And so we do spend time on learning which foods are carbohydrate foods. An easy way to think about which foods are carbohydrate foods would be to think of it like this. Carbohydrate is just another word for starches and sugars. So anything that's starchy, like bread, cereal, rice, pasta, potatoes, would break down into glucose in the blood. And then also sugars, which are found naturally in some foods. Fruit, for example, is a carbohydrate food, and milk actually has a natural sugar, which is a carbohydrate food. And then, of course, we always think of sweets, because sweets have added sugars, but they also sometimes have starches. So there's a lot of carbohydrate in sweets and things like that oftentimes. So what we really want to do is we want to balance those carbohydrate foods with the amount of insulin that your body makes, or if you inject insulin, with the amount of insulin that you inject. And that's very important to achieve that balance to try to get blood sugar control. Also, learning about portion sizes of carbohydrates and how to control carbohydrates often helps with weight, because if if the majority of us, we tend to like carbohydrate foods and eat them in larger quantities than we should sometimes, and so by reducing portions or controlling portions of carbohydrate, it also helps us control calorie level and lose weight. Just for example, it's really a shock sometimes when people come in and they find that this is the serving size for 15 grams or one serving of carbohydrate for a potato. Oftentimes, when you eat out, you might see a potato this big, and it's kind of a shock to the system when they find that that's actually 5 servings of carbohydrate. The average woman, we try to encourage them to stay around maybe 2 or 3 servings of carbohydrate at a meal, and each serving is approximately 15 grams, so that would be about 30 to 45 grams if you're trying to lose weight. And then for most men, around 60 to 75 grams, which would be about 4 to 5 servings of carbohydrate. So that's basically what I do, is I teach them how much carbohydrate is appropriate for them, and how to balance that with their medications and their exercise, because it's really achieving that balance that helps people get control of their blood sugar.